At some point, we're all going to have RFIDs. It might be even in our fingers, where they require it with everything on it.
Instead of carrying credit cards or money, we will probably be implanted with chips.
And now RFID microchips like this are being injected into humans.
Our driver's license will be on the RFID chip. Our credit card number, all our information will be on this one chip.
Forget mobile phones. Your children and grandchildren may well want an implant instead.
I realize there are various interpretations of Revelation 13, 16 through 17. Some believe the mark is a transhuman process that people go through at the end of the age, while others believe it is a symbol of loyalty to the beast kingdom on earth. Some suggest it's a graven image placed inside of the human body, and still others believe it to be an RFID implant.
And we go back to scripture and it talks about it by their right hand or on their foreheads. You know, obviously John, who saw this vision, lived over 2,000 years ago, and he was using the best language he had to describe what he was being shown.
Sure.
We went out, we spent $1.5 million doing some research on places to put the microchip. We had determined this chip has 250,000 components, a little lithium battery built into it, and a charging circuit. And it was a charging circuit built on temperature change. We spent $1.5 million, between 1.2 and $1.5 million, trying to determine where the places on the body were that the temperature changed the most rapidly. The places they came up with, and I've got the reports back on it, the places they came up with were just below the hairline on the forehead and on the back of the right hand. Now, the Bible I had said on the right hand or on the forehead. I looked at that and I said, praise God, I didn't do it. I wasn't a part of it. Oh, isn't that good? And the Lord said, look at the word mark. And I said, but Lord, he said, look it up in the Greek. The word mark is charagma in the Greek, 5480 in the Strong's Concordance in the Greek. And it says a scratch, an etching, a stamp, as a badge of servitude, or cut into. It takes you to the word charax, which is to sharpen to a point, the idea of scratching, a stake, a pointed object, pointed into. I believe what John saw as Jesus was giving him the book of Revelation, I believe what he saw was a hypodermic needle. Because in the meetings that I have been in, a lot of these people, I've been in 17 of these one world type meetings, the whole idea behind it is identification. A man walked up who was a government employee right here in Sacramento and said, I attended a meeting last week where they said key personnel will receive the microchip, government personnel. God showed me something else. He said, take a look at not the numbers 666, but the word for 666. I said, Lord, I didn't know there was one of those. And there is. It is 5516 in the Strong's Concordance, and it's Chixastigma. That takes you to the word stigma. The last part of that word is stigma. The word stigma is to stick or to prick, a mark incised or punched for recognition of ownership. I looked at all of those and I wept for days. We have children in Florida right now in daycare centers receiving the microchip identification.
I mean, just common sense would tell us that when this time comes, when we see something mandated where they are trying to mark every person in the whole world, whether that be for tracking or for buying or selling or whatever it is, there's going to be people out there who just common sense, who may give no regard to the Bible at all, that say, this is crazy. There's no way I'm going to participate in this.
RFID has gained a strange and rapid popularity over the past decade. And now people are openly chipping themselves and posting videos online about their experiences. Other implantable devices are also being popularized by the mainstream media, now more so than ever.
But some citizens are embracing the age of Big Brother. In Rotterdam, Holland, Nightclub owner John Van Gallen has introduced a system of microchipping for his VIP patrons. It's almost like barcoding people.
Yeah, it is. Because every chip got a number, and the number corresponds to the name and the picture. That's the way it is, yeah. It is.
It feels like a little grain of rice.
Some rice, yeah.
Irving has had the chip for the past 4 years. Every time he buys a drink, he's scanned. And, like a human ATM, money comes off his account. You don't feel like you're giving up a little bit of your privacy, do you?
No. No. It's just nice to have. Like I say, I have a chip in my arm. I'm the first one in the whole world. I have a chip. And yeah.
Here, these guys, they're gonna take the chip to buy candy bars.
At 3 Square Market in River Falls, a team of programmers designed software for break room markets, like this one. Believe it or not, this is the reason they're about to do this to more than 50 of their employees.
It's the next thing that's inevitably going to happen, and we want to be a part of it.
No conspiracy is complete without bringing Walmart into the picture. I'm sure you guys have noticed now, if you use your bank cards at Walmart, their machines force you to use the chip. So they are getting us ready, again, with the predictive programming, forcing us that we have to come along, people, come along, come along.
2012 and 2013, Walmart brought Solo Health Stations into their store and announced that they were a part of an Obamacare initiative. What very few people took note of was the machine's ability to scan RFID chip technology. Specifically, it had an apparatus underneath the machine that was used to scan RFID chips and to collect huge quantity of data on individuals. The Solo Health machine has been under quiet production for many years, with Walmart as a pilot company testing out these machines. Much of what Walmart has done with Solo Health Stations has gone under the radar.
This was recorded thousands and thousands of years ago. Think about that, people. Just think about it. This is what they say about about the end times. And this, people say, oh, well, Hitler and this, that, and everybody thought the Antichrist, this and that. Well, this was one prophecy that has never been fulfilled till now. It says, and the second beast required that all people, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, so that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, the name of the beast or the number of its name.
The RFID chip is exceptionally dangerous, and there is a reason why. It hardwires you to the World Wide Web, the Matrix. RFID chips and other implants can interact with your body and collect data and upload this data to the WWW that was birthed at CERN in 1989. Early on, RFID implants were marketed to high-risk populations, such as the elderly, people with dementia, people with diabetes or epilepsy. This was done under a patent called Verichip, which caused a firestorm of speculation that it could be an early test run for the Mark of the Beast. But let me first tell you some details about how I know this. I've said little about myself, and I'm very sorry to have to maintain such strict anonymity. I currently serve as a professor of science at a school of medicine. I am also a part of the alternative health community. In my career, I've worked in infectious and communicable disease epidemiology. It may sound like a mouthful, I realize, but it is true. I've worked extensively with medical robots, biometric systems, radio frequency identification, and know the potential danger of these technologies. I now speak out publicly against RFID and biometrics in healthcare. What I'm about to say might shock you, and I know it to be a fact because of my expertise. The elites have already chipped millions of people while they have slept, when they were put under, during surgical procedures and received medical device implants. Did you know that medical technology companies began to secretly implant chips into devices like hip implants, total knee replacements, titanium rods, medical mesh, pacemakers and defibrillators, prosthetics, and even breast implants now contain small microchips inside of them. The problem is that everybody was focused on Verichip. What they didn't realize is that chipping began before Verichip was mass marketed, roughly around the years 2007 through 2008, the year of Obama's election. Millions of microchips are sitting inside of people's bodies as a part of a medical device.
Change happens. Change happens because the American people demand it.
Let me provide further evidence that chipping every individual is not a conspiracy. It is a fact, whether it's the mark of the beast or not. They want to chip every single person in the entire world. Here is a white paper produced by Skyatech and its parent company, JADEC, an industry leader in healthcare RFID. The white paper outlines the importance of embedding microchips into a variety of devices in the medical setting. There could be many benefits, including cost savings for the hospital, but it also gives the ability to track patients in real time. This white paper is from December 2007. This was around the time of NBC's Brave New World special featuring microchips. It was the year the presidential election began in the United States.
We're talking about a brand new report exposing the shocking number of foreigners who illegally overstayed their travel visas here in the U.S.
This is a very alarming report. It confirms what we've been suspicious of for a long time. What this report says is that in 2014 alone, 1 year, 400,000 plus people overstayed their visas.
So what we have to do is figure out how we can get to 100% without sacrificing our liberty for security.
We have the technology to follow someone from the moment they come into the United States on a visa.
Eventually what's happening is that we are being led bit by bit through, to use the Skinnerian term, from shaping, through the successive approximation to ultimately having within our bodies an RFID chip that will be implanted, that people will stand in line and in queues for to have, so that ultimately we will have in our bodies. Because what we're doing right now, Lindsay, is we're slowly moving towards that. We went from the desktop to the laptop to the phone to the watch, and now we're having little tattoos, little biometrics, all of them leading to the ultimate goal, and that is an RFID, a radio frequency identification or similar chip, to be placed subcutaneously. And that chip, Lindsay, will have everything about you there is. Your bank account, your GPS location, and you will do it. You will get one. Because after all, it will also have the siren call of medical information. And then one day, God forbid, not you, one day when people are found guilty of, let's say, crimes, they're not going to be put into the Hoosgow, in the pokey. No, their chip is going to be turned off and poof, they don't exist anymore. That's where all of this is going.
Well, bottom line, I don't want to put people in ankle bracelets and put chips on them. What I want us to do is figure out whether people are coming to vacation or if we've got runaways, refugees, because that will determine why people are here. At the end of the day, Ben Franklin told us a couple of 100 years ago that if we sacrifice our liberty for security, we'll deserve neither.
Look, it's a privilege to come to this country. It's not a right, it's a privilege, and we have to be able to enforce the rules. We have the technology, Shannon. We know how to do it. You may have to implement it through banking systems so that when someone uses their ATM card and we know where they are.
Think about it, Lindsay. No more wallets. You want to pay for your bill? Go like that. Because there's the chip. Just go like that. We'll do these little hand waves. This will be everything. And then, as I said, the moment you transgress and that chip is turned off, you don't exist anymore. People won't be able to see you on their GPS devices, even though you're looking right at them. They're saying, I'm sorry, Lindsay, this isn't registering. Because without this, without my ability to pick up the metrics, the biometrics, the electronic metrics of you, you don't exist.
We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. It will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
What happens when one of those chips gets a computer virus? So we're looking at a future where you could have some advanced medical device inside you, and that could be infected by some other chip inside you.
Yeah, that's right. That's quite possible. And equally, someone who's carrying an infected medical device could feasibly infect someone else.
So we've got a future where we could all become one sort of great big walking computer infected with a virus.
That's quite possible.
He is a real-life Cyberman, a scientist with an implanted computer chip. A tiny lump is all that gives it away. A wave of his digitally enhanced hand and security doors magically open. Only he can operate his phone, and only if he holds it in the hand fitted with a chip. But now Dr. Mark Gasson is suffering a very 21st century malady, the first human to be infected with a computer virus.
When the systems read my tags, the computer virus has actually appeared throughout the whole database. So it's actually replicated itself and copied it throughout the database. So any of these people that are using their swipe cards to access the building, the actual virus will be copied onto their card.
They're like mini computers, and just like a computer, they're vulnerable to viruses.
But then we find out that anyone who takes this mark, whatever this thing is, grievous sores will appear over the body. But here's the deal. It says that in those days, the days of the mark, men and women will seek death and not find it.
And in future, chips will be used even more widely, perhaps even as memory upgrades for the brain. They too could be scrambled by malicious computer code.
And I think there's probably going to be a lot that happens in genetics and in human-machine brain interface, like essentially a cyborg brain interface.
Humans must merge with machinery in order to stay relevant in a world of increasingly advanced artificial intelligence. Speaking at the World Government Summit in Dubai, the Tesla and SpaceX CEO said humans are limited by the speed at which they transmit data. Musk proposed a high bandwidth connection to the human brain would allow us to transmit digital info faster than our current fastest method, typing. Musk says an artificial general intelligence has the potential to make humans irrelevant. He sees integration with technology as a necessary step in order to avoid this.
The other reason we're told not to worry is that these machines can't help but share our values because they will be literally extensions of ourselves. They'll be grafted onto our brains and will essentially become their limbic systems. Now take a moment to consider that the safest and only prudent path forward recommended is to implant this technology directly into our brains. Now, this may in fact be the safest and only prudent path forward, but usually one's safety concerns about a technology have to be pretty much worked out before you stick it inside your head.
I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world marveled and followed the beast. So they worshipped the dragon who gave authority to the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" And he was given a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months.
I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. If AI is much smarter than a person, what do we do?
Yeah.
What job do we have?
Believe in a benevolent AI force and cross our fingers.
Like, one of them is the mechanical mismatch between humans and electronics, right? So electronics are boxy and rigid, humans are curvy and soft. That's a mechanical mismatch problem. Well, a researcher at the University of Illinois, his name is Dr. Rogers, what he discovered is that he could use standard CMOS techniques to make islands of high-performance silicon connected by accordion-like structures that would allow it to stretch up to 200% and still be performing. This is a developmental system made by MC10. And it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it. And what we plan to do is work with them to advance a tattoo that could be used for authentication. Now, it may be true that 10 to 20-year-olds don't want to wear a watch on their wrist, but you can be sure that they'll be far more interested in wearing an electronic tattoo, if only to piss off their parents. Right?
And that can have a design, right? Because they would certainly want some kind of cool design.
Options.
MIT and Microsoft have created the world's first smart tattoo called DuoSkin, which is a temporary gold leaf tattoo that enables a person to remotely control their smartphone and share data with others with a swipe of an index finger. Created by a group of PhDs in MIT's Media Lab along with scientists from Microsoft Research, the tattoo is specifically designed for skin touch interactive technology. In a video via TechCrunch.com, the tattoos demonstrated show 3 different types of possible on-skin interfaces, one being sensing touch input, the second displaying output, and the third wireless communication. According to DuoSkin's website, DuoSkin is a fabrication process that enables anyone to create customized functional devices that can be attached directly on their skin. DuoSkin draws from aesthetics found in metallic jewelry like temporary tattoos to create on-skin devices which resemble jewelry. So not only can we feel like we're straight out of a sci-fi movie controlling devices on our skin, but we can look good doing it too.
This pill has a small chip inside of it with a switch. When you swallow it, the acids in your stomach serve as the electrolyte, and they power it up, and the switch goes on and off. And it creates an 18-bit ECG-like signal in your body, and essentially your entire body becomes your authentication token. It's really true. So what this means is that that becomes my first superpower. I really want this superpower. It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. First superpower. Like, I want that.
But this is FDA cleared?
So here's the thing. This is not science fiction. This pill was actually made by a company called Proteus. That pill has been CE stamped and cleared by the FDA. You can take 30 of those per day for the rest of your life.
Dave, we have stuff that even the Mossad doesn't know we have. And he specifically mentioned them. He goes, they know pretty much everything we do. They don't know. We have stuff that can literally change a person's DNA. We have stuff that can turn them into zombie-acting characters. And it was the October 31st, 2012 drill in San Diego, where people were dressed up with makeup artists to act like zombies, and they were being shot down in a simulation. And it was a FEMA DHS civil control drill in San Diego, and
The government actually has a zombie apocalypse plan, and it's just been declassified. A few years ago, the Center for Disease Control launched a zombie preparedness initiative that drew significant attention. The Complete Response Plan, called ConPlan 888, was recently declassified, and it's just as weird and creepy as you might imagine. The Black Vault posted 2 documents retrieved from the NSA using the Freedom of Information Act. The purpose of the plan, according to the United States Strategic Command, USTRATCOM, was to use a fictitious scenario to prepare for real-world emergencies. The training focused on how to undertake military operations to preserve non-zombie humans from the threats posed by a zombie horde. The objective of the threefold plan includes the neutralization of zombies through denial, deception, disruption, degradation or destruction, though with the exception of destruction, it is unclear what is meant by these terms with regard to fighting zombies. Reading at times like the treatment to a campy science fiction script, ConPlan 888 categorizes 8 classes of zombies. Pathogenic zombies, zombie life forms created after infection by a viral or bacterial contagion. Radiation zombies, zombie life forms created after infection from electromagnetic or particle radiation. Evil magic zombies, zombie life forms created by occult experimentation, or evil magic.
He said, we have the ability to make people behave this way. And he said, and we use the chemtrails, nanotechnology. He said, it's all here.
Something I think we should be concerned about is that may or may not turn out well, because we just don't know what's going to happen once there's intelligence substantially greater than that of a human brain.
In the sci-fi film 2001: A Space Odyssey, Hollywood mined our fears of machines taking over mankind. But some of the tech world's greatest minds worry it may not be pure science fiction. At a speech last year at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk called artificial intelligence potentially, quote, our biggest existential threat. Famed physicist Stephen Hawking is also worried, as is Microsoft founder Bill Gates, who ironically helped lay the foundation for artificial intelligence, or AI.
The field is progressing very rapidly right now. There are things happening that 10 years ago we would have said, no, there's no way we're going to be that far along in 10 years' time.
Self-driving cars is one example, voice recognition another. But in the near term, what worries Russell and other AI experts are robotic weapons, machines that can function entirely without the guidance of humans, known as fully autonomous weapons.
While movies tend to make AI human-like, experts believe it may be more alien, creepy, and calculating. If it could save a few minutes by eradicating humans, our demise would be brutally efficient. Elon Musk is worried that humans might just be the biological bootloader for digital superintelligence. He's donated $10 million to research on how to keep AI positive and founded OpenAI, a project aiming to share AI's advantages so that it can't be controlled by a small group. Musk hopes a neural lace will be developed, connecting our brains to the AI. He notes that we already have two communicating parts of the brain and believes the third layer will be a wonderful upgrade. As Nick Bostrom says, we have what may be an extremely difficult problem with an unknown time to solve it, on which quite possibly the entire future of humanity depends.
Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
World leaders need to take the threat of killer robots seriously. That was the warning delivered by a group of experts to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland last week. The military could use killer robots to track down and kill people without being guided by human beings. Some could be human or animal-sized or extremely tiny, the size of an insect capable of moving exceedingly fast. The experts warn they could be as deadly as nuclear weapons and need to be regulated now before an arms race begins in Gordon, of course, to keep them out of the hands of terrorists.
As we create superintelligence, that it will necessarily always have the same goals in mind that we do.
Facebook has enacted an emergency shutdown of 2 artificial intelligence programs. The social media giant leapt into action after it discovered the 2 programs were writing their own code. At first they thought it was simply gibberish, but they soon realised the programs had invented their own language and were actually talking to each other.
Stop it.
Stop it. No, Sam, the plug has been pulled on the operation, but the company admits they have no idea what the 2 robots were planning.
Now, robots threatening the human race isn't new. It's a science fiction standard.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me.
But recently, tech billionaire Elon Musk suggested all that fiction could become reality.
I keep sounding the alarm bell, but until people see robots going down the street killing people, they don't know how to react.
Musk is afraid of the day AI gets smarter than us and we can't turn it off.
That's actually the nightmare scenario that a lot of people, not just Musk, are warning about.